Welcome and thank you for joining us for a Chain-Sys appLOAD Suite demonstration today. We're excited to be here. My name is Stephen Rivet and I'm a Director of New Business Development for Chain-Sys, and I'm joined with my colleague Austin Davis, who is our Senior Pre-Sales Architect. We're hoping today to share a little bit about how Oracle Business Accelerators and appLOAD Suite working together can effectively provide benefits to your organization and installation. Let me begin by talking a little bit about Chain-Sys Corporation. We were established in the last century. I like to say that. It makes us sound a little older. We're established in 1989 with our headquarters here in Lansing, Michigan. However, we do have a fairly large center of excellence in Chennai, India, with operations also in Canada, Singapore, and the UK. But recently, we've developed a Salesforce center in Brazil, and in 2012 established a EMEA headquarters in the Netherlands, and new this year our Middle East operation in Dubai. We have over 500 globally staffed in our organization. Here in the United States, a very large contingency working with Oracle. We have over 20 ongoing support engagements with well over 100 customers worldwide. But most importantly, we're proud of our relationship or partnership with Oracle as a platinum partner. As you can see at this slide, are ready on all the different parts of the Oracle product line. And the appLOAD Suite solution that we're going to show you today is a validated integration with Oracle. Combined with the Oracle Business Accelerators and our experience as a partner in the ecosystem, we have been able to, with the number of customers, be very instrumental in the data migration aspect of the implementation in a number of specific industry applications. The advantage of working with Chain-Sys and our appLOAD product line is an overall implementation timeline reduction from the standard or traditional programming methodology to a more product-based and pre-configured process. Oracle Business Accelerators bring industry-specific pre-configured environments, whereas, in conjunction with appLOAD, we bring the legacy data transformed early in the development or implementation stage so that the customer can take a look at that real live data in that application or implementation as they're moving forward. Some of the benefits with appLOAD and the Oracle Business Accelerators is a large or high volume migration can take place early on, and we can do some load balancing and clustering so that this process is very smooth and can be done early. The data quality aspect that we're going to speak about today in the data mart that we bring with the appLOAD Suite allows you to cleanse and consolidate and do a number of validations with the data long before go live. This is a very scalable and repeatable process. All of our templates are configured so that for multiple iterations downstream, you'll get the consistency that you're looking for. Our systems are secured through the Oracle process, and we like to say that our configuration management tool or version control is second to none within the product. And because of our audit trail and notification capability, we are SOX compliant. We've had a number of wonderful successes with Oracle Business Accelerators, and one of them is with Built, and I'd like to ask my colleague Austin Davis to talk a little bit about this particular implementation.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Steve. And, one of the interesting things about Oracle Business Accelerators, whether you're a $100 million company or like Built, which as part of a very large group is more than $1 billion, everybody's looking for that right blend of financial reporting and a way to have their future growth in a platform. And that ERP solution that everybody really feels is the best of breed is Oracle eBusiness Suite. And we're pleased to be a part of the Business Accelerators team to bring this approach to this customer. And one of the successes that they really were able to do was by utilizing the OBA templates for process manufacturing, they were able to get off the ground much faster. As a publicly owned company, it was critical for them to meet their milestones for sharing this information, and we were part of that team to not only get them onto this platform as quickly as possible, but in utilizing our data loading solution, which is the appLOAD productivity suite, to help them to get all of more than a terabyte of data into their new system as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Austin. A few other clients that we've been working with around the globe, we'll be happy to provide references and case studies at any time. Let me take a moment to talk about our solution stack. We developed this product on top of a extract and load, and we're going to highlight these today in our demonstration in a few minutes. These come with pre-validation and error correction capabilities. We've developed on top of them our interface and migrate products, which allow us to do in a conversion a great amount of data or bring in data from various legacy systems. And then we've built a BI product on top of that. All these together consist of our suite, which again I'll highlight as a validated integration by Oracle and works in conjunction with the Oracle Business Accelerator product offering. The features are, as we've mentioned several times, over 400 pre-built templates for extracting and loading data into the Oracle eBusiness Suite R12, everything from reference to master data, setup, transactional, and so on. Again, large volumes, million records in one shot from a variety or a multitude of sources using our hub and spoke J2E technology, which we'll focus in a little bit in the demonstration. But it's in our data mart, which we're highlighting today, that allows us to transform this data, purge it, cleanse it, validate it, long before we actually move it into the target instance. And again, as mentioned, a very well-established security model and the extensive audit trail and notification capability. We have a very specific data migration approach, which dovetails in with the pre-configuration process that's used with Oracle Business Accelerators. We like to gather all the stakeholders together, define the attributes and objects that are looking to be migrated from the legacy system. From there, we do a simple configuration of those adapters or templates. At that point, we can extract into the staging tables we refer to as our data mart, again, transforming that information to what we at Chain-Sys call the get clean, stay clean model, allowing the customer to see early on their data transformed and ready to be utilized in the R12 system. We pre-validate. We allow for corrections either in real time within the system, or we can take that data and move it out to the individual users or business analysts. They can make the corrections and bring it back in long before we load it in the target instance. This is just a pictorial of that process that I just went through. Again, it's bringing together all the stakeholders so that they have a hand in the process early on. As early as CRP 1 or 2, we can see very realistic live data that has already been transformed and cleansed for the R12 instance, which is very helpful in the industry-specific and pre-configured environments that Oracle Business Accelerators bring to an implementation project. But what we like to say is the value proposition is an overall reduction in the timeline, specifically at cutover. We've seen this take place in as little as 72 hours with huge amounts of data at very low data risks, or like we like to say, with live data that's been transformed, at a significant ROI over the traditional implementation processes for data migration, which includes a long and tedious programming methodology. And it just does not seem to go hand in glove with Oracle's Business Accelerator model. So with that, I'd like to take a moment and jump right into a demonstration. And I'm going to ask Austin if he would take it from here. This first part, go ahead, if you will, is just a simple login that we use. So go ahead, Austin.
Thank you, Steve. So this is just the introduction screen, and kind of as we log in, you can kind of see how the graphical user interface kind of steps off the page here. Initially, it's kind of organized. Steve mentioned several different focus areas: extraction, migration, loading, integration, and the business intelligence product line. Modules are all built into this specific suite. Today, we're just going to have a look at maybe some of the example of the templates and kind of go through them to showcase to you all the different ones that are available. I think Steve mentioned that there's more than 400 of them already pre-configured. And the idea is, along with Oracle Business Accelerators, these are in the repository. This is part of the library that is accessible. Now you have an availability to bring all of this type of pre-configured templates into your system. So now you can then focus on what Steve mentioned, the get clean, stay clean, is to bring data using that methodology into your R12 environment. Today we're going to focus a little bit on the supplier data load, and we're going to take a quick look at the report that the tool generates for you. And this tool gives you the ability to readily see what's available in terms of mapping. You can see the source to target descriptions here, and along with that, all the built-in pre-validations. So again, this is stuff that you don't have to go through and build from the ground up. You get this from day one. And that's, again, the pre-configured approach where now you have a spreadsheet or you have a target system readied, and you can bring data from multiple sources, multiple flat files or systems, and bring them into your, essentially, your new Oracle Business Accelerator environment when it's ready to go.
This, as you see here, mimics in great detail what happens with Oracle Accelerator. They have the same type of methodology for configuring the environment with their pre-configured templates.
So here we kind of see a preview of the hub and spoke model. Essentially, what this showcases is from a centralized place, you can connect to multiple types of databases, FTP locations, and other enterprise application types, Salesforce, for example. And you can bring data from those places or put data into those places. But the advantage here now is you have one place where all this data can be then brought into the data mart before being validated with all the business rules and then populated into the environment that the Oracle's Business Accelerators, the templates that are being used for that cycle. You now have the ability to bring that data in.
Let's jump now, Austin, to the loader itself. Here we're going to define which instance, and we're looking at a local R12 instance that we have. We've chosen the template loader itself that we're going to be doing today, which is that AP supplier. And then we're going to identify the data that we're looking to bring in. So in this particular case, we can show you in advance our pre-validation for this particular data object. And in detail, we're going to be looking at the country identification information, and we're going to validate the names of those countries as well. That's just one example of a number of configured pre-validations that we would run. So if we take and go ahead and run this loader, we're going to identify the instance. And I want to point out on the left-hand side, you'll see a flow chart that describes in detail what each step has to be in what sequence. Here you see that we've loaded the adapter, and now we're going to grab the data from a simple Excel spreadsheet. We grab the master data, and now we're grabbing the vendor site information. We're going to run those through the validation process, and you'll see here that in this particular instance, as this is happening in real time, it will identify any errors or any process information. And you'll see in this particular case, there were two challenges or two problems that we had on specific records. So we're going to go in and do this data correction live inside the data mart long before we load it into the target instance. And you'll see here that we have two situations. One is that the currency is the wrong exchange or the wrong information, but we here are using a Levenshtein distance method for determining which is the best solution, which you see we had U.S. versus USD, and then an additional error was that there was a typing error with regard to the invalid receipt routing, and we spelled incorrectly, so we can make those adjustments. Again, we can take these errors and move them out if there's a large number of them to an individual user offline on a separate spreadsheet, but in this particular case, we just did it online. We're running another validation, and as you see here, this is all happening live, and we've come back with 0 errors based on those changes. So this provides an ability for you to do the pre-validation in advance. And now we're just going to load that data into the target instance.
Yeah, one of the nice things about this specific framework is you very quickly have a way to have predictable timelines to plug into your implementation cycle. So as you look into your SIT and your UAT, you can then determine, okay, my data loading activity is going to take 4 days, and my downtime is going to be 12 hours or 18 hours. You can start planning for that. And then prior to that, you now have the ability, as Steve pointed out, to bring out your get clean, stay clean strategy. And that's a very simple data quality management approach, where what you're doing is essentially ensuring that the data you're putting into this pre-configured R12 environment is meeting to your business needs, meeting to the data requirements of Oracle E-Business Suite, and you're able to do all of this before even the instance is set up. That's the neat part about how this approach works.
So as you saw, we had a complete migration of data, and as I mentioned earlier in the process, we have a detailed notification capability. So here you're seeing a complete summary of everything that happened, the date it happened, and then we can drill down and look at the specific log and all the details. So again, a very detailed audit trail is available. So with that, I'll jump back out of this demo. It's a pleasure to have had the opportunity to demo our product with you today, hoping that you'll get a chance to spend some more time with us to better understand the appLOAD Oracle Business Accelerator advantages.
Yeah, one of the very nice things I just wanted to summarize, Steve, is, again, the idea is whether you're a $100 million company or growing to become a billion-dollar company, having a Oracle E-Business Suite as your financial reporting and enterprise resource system is going to be one of the key indicators of how you can control that growth. And being able to get into that system quickly is going to be one of the key factors in your success. Having Oracle Business Accelerators will get you there sooner, and having a tool such as appLOAD will get your data into your system in a much faster way.
Thank you. And if you'll take the time to visit us at www.Chain-Sys, that's CHAIN-SYS.com, and request a custom demo, we'll be happy to do either an online or on-site proof of concept or capabilities. Thank you very much.